Hello, everyone. Welcome to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are presented by Belly Up Sports in association with Gozilla Media. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the co-hosts, and to my right, I keep getting this wrong on
There.
the
There we
visual
go.
side. I have a man who was flagged by the NFL for placing his recyclables in the trash can. My friend Dustin Henry. How are we doing tonight, Dustin?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Can the audience hear that content loading song that plays during that? Because that thing's a banger.
Yes, they can. I
That's
love it.
I like
Again,
the bass line there. I'm doing fine. It's week 5. Is your team still alive? I think both of us
yes.
can say yes at the moment.
Yes. Yes, we can. And we've already got comments in the comments section, but we'll get to them in just a second. But first, I want to remind you all about our social media channels, which are right down here. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at NoCredsREQ. Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ. If you're watching live, give a thumbs up on Facebook and also on YouTube. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, no credentials required. Again, give us a thumbs up. Also, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way, you are well informed when we go live or we upload a video. On the podcast side, you can find our home base, which is you can find us at our home base at Spreaker, but you can also find us at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google, Amazon Music, wherever you podcast. Give us a subscribe, give us a listen, and also rate and review. That way, people know about the show. 5-star rating is preferred. And if you leave a comment either later in the YouTube section or on Facebook, or if you leave a rating, I might even read it on the air. Um, Borderline on the on some content though. try to make
Yeah,
it as try to make it as PG as possible here.
there are some restrictions.
Yes, try to keep it PG-13. So let's get into the show. We're going to talk about NFL, the Week 5 wrap up. It's an extended wrap up, I should say. It's if it would be great if we had a sponsor that was Wraps. We could
Oh
say
yeah.
this is your NFL Week 5 wrap up brought to you by Mama's Wraps.
Now hiring for the holiday season.
Yes, because they need the help. God knows that. God knows everybody else needs the help.
Yeah.
So let's get into NFL Week 5. Dustin, I know your Seahawks had they had a very exciting a time against New Orleans, but unfortunately they come up short in the end.
Yeah. Gino's slinging it around the yard. Who would have thought about it? But yeah, I unfortunately their defense can't stop a paper bag, so that will be a theme later in the show for me.
Yeah, and my New York Jets scored 40 points against the Miami Dolphins. And yeah, and shameless plug, yesterday was Victory Monday with my buddy Dan Goldstein. We talked all about that win. I'm still kind of riding that emotional high
Hmm.
in terms of the absolute spearing of the Miami Dolphins. Um, I'm sorry to any Dolphins who are out there watching or listening. And the animals, not Tyreek Hill, who got absolutely disrespected by Quinnen Williams, uh,
Oh, oh
but
man,
that which is
harpoon.
actually now a GIF on social media, which is it makes my day. But we're not going to talk about my Jets. We're not going to talk about our Dustin Seahawks, although I'm pretty sure he'll talk about it later in the show. But we're going to start off with our biggest upset. Dustin, who in your mind was the biggest upset this week in
I
Week
I
5?
have a suspicion we may feel the same way about this, but I was
Mm,
astonished and I will say pleasantly surprised to see the Giants knock off those Packers in
yeah,
London. And for the second straight week, this was a very entertaining game from London. This was probably my favorite, my most entertaining game of the week as well. And in the beginning, I wasn't sure. I thought it was going to be one of those games where the Giants hang with them and then the Packers pull it out late. Especially there was a miscue where Daniel Jones threw to a open Darius Slayton and he just didn't get his head around. It was kind of he wasn't. I don't know if he wasn't at the right place in his route or whatever. But I'm thinking, oh, that's unfortunate. I said, here we go. Here's a turning point. But I was proven wrong. The Giants, Brian Dable's got them buying into something over there.
Absolutely. No, and the fact of the matter, the Giants had fallen behind 17-3 in this game, and had to make their way back, and they went up being down only 7 at halftime, and then in the second half, they made all the adjustments. And that's the thing about this team, is that they make second half adjustments that frustrate the ever living crap out of opposing teams, especially on the defensive side.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I can't name a single person. On that Giants defense other than Leonard Williams, who was a former New York Jet, and he re-signed with the Giants. But outside of him, I can't name a single New York Giant. But I have a feeling that some of these players are going to be nominated for a Pro Bowl if they keep
I
this
would
pace up.
imagine. Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, because to shut down, granted, I don't think the Packers offense is where it used to be, but they still
No.
have some great running backs. You still have one of the greatest to ever throw the football back there as well. And to scheme and adjust, and to have a defense that can keep up with him and to some degree shut them down, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and we're definitely on the same accord in terms of who our biggest upset is for the week. I had the New York Giants upsetting the Green Bay Packers in London at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as my upset of the week for sure as well. You know what the interesting stat of that game is? Daniel Jones only had 6 incompletions.
Wow.
I think he went 21 of 26. I can't remember how many yards he passed for, but actually I'll bring it up right now.
Yeah.
But he had a very efficient game. And
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that Brian Dable wanted to help fix for Daniel Jones. All right, so here's the stat line: 21 of 27, 217 yards, no touchdowns, no intercept. And here's the biggest part: no interceptions.
Yes. He's always been a little turnover prone. And also, he seems to have exhibited better ball security this year, because I know Daniel Jones, he can try to make plays with his legs and stuff, but it always seemed that earlier in his career he had a problem where he would cause turnovers by doing that, because he wasn't holding onto the ball necessarily in the best manner when he's running. And it seems like, I don't know if it's just a late reclamation project for Brian Dable here, but Daniel Jones is playing some of the best football that I remember seeing him play.
You know what's funny is that before the season started, before camps even started, when Brian Dable was hired, he was on record saying, "Yeah, I can't wait to work with Daniel Jones." And both Giants fans and the rest of the NFL, fans of the NFL, they laughed. They laughed at him. They laughed at him.
Yeah.
But you've seen the work he's done already with Daniel Jones, and I have a feeling that if Daniel Jones keeps up this momentum, he's gonna have a special year, and he might earn himself an extension.
Yeah.
As in Big Blue Land. So, yeah, and the fact that the Giants were one of the 3 teams I hit in my all New York parlay this week on DraftKings Sportsbook. By the way, promo code 518 for any new users out there with Gozilla Media. Shout out to Goz. But I come home from church on Sunday morning. I'm listening to the game. I'm like, come on, Giants, come on, you can pull us off. You can pull us off. 4th down for the Packers inside the Giants 5. Great deflection. The Giants kill some time off the clock, and I'm getting a free kick with it because they had a safety. They had the punter running out of the end zone. And then the Giants had that big sack to end the strip sack fumble to end the game. And it was just this team is special. And with the exception of the Washington Commanders,
yeah,
the NFC Beast is back.
Yeah. This is well, and I have to do this. I told you all last week on the show that something wasn't right in Packerland when they let Bailey Zappi and the Patriots almost steal the win from them there.
Yeah.
And the reason I have to call out my hollow victories is because I was dead wrong about the Cowboys so far. I can tell you that. So So yeah, the NFC East, we thought the Eagles would make quick work of this division, and that might not be the
No,
case after the
no.
first quarter of the season.
Yeah, I thought the Giants and the Cowboys especially were not going to have great years. I thought Mike McCarthy, no relation, was going to be fodder this after the end of the season. I thought the Giants were going to be, they're rebuilding in a way, but I think they still have a couple pieces to add. But I think
Yeah.
the coaching has been the biggest factor this year
Hmm.
for the Giants. And this division is up for grabs. There's three teams in that division that could possibly win the NFC East, and
Yes.
it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, and the Eagles, while they're still undefeated, they did not look invincible against Arizona
Nope,
last week.
nope.
So
They needed a kick from a guy who's never kicked in the NFL, going wide left to win their game against Arizona, who gave them a
yeah,
scare,
yeah,
and they're still undefeated, which is the 72 Dolphins, all
yeah.
who are the ones who are still with us.
Oh,
They're closely watching
don't
that
even.
Philadelphia Eagles team.
That's one of my most hated things in football. It really pisses me off when I see like
Mercury Morris and Bob
Mercury
Greasy.
Morris,
Every year when
Arizona.
the last undefeated team falls,
Yeah,
I'll get the champagne out and
yeah, they do,
start
and then
celebrating.
and then invariably they'll be like on Sports Center, they'll be like, "Oh, Mercury, how do you feel?" And it's like, why are we still giving this guy airtime? It's right. I mean, he's the one that accepts every
Yeah.
interview request. You don't see
Hmm.
Zonka out there doing that. Former American Gladiators host,
Yes. Yes. And
but
former New
yeah,
York Giants former New York Giant Larry Zonka too.
yeah,
In the twilight of his career, he was a New York Giant. He was the one who fumbled the ball during the Miracle of the Meadowlands back in 1979, which made Herman Edwards a very famous man.
yeah, that's true.
So I
That's
gotta read
true.
these comments real quickly. Our comment section is brought to you by one of our partners here at No Credentials Required, InTheClutch.com. Great t-shirts. I've worn a couple of them on the air. I actually wore my Zach Wilson Word to Your Moms, I Came to Drop Bombs t-shirt
That's a class.
for yesterday. It's a great shirt. I wore it yesterday on Victory Monday. You can get the same exact shirt and get 10% off your order when you use the promo code NOCREDS at checkout. So our first comment is from Jason, Commissioner Jason at TSSS Fantasy. He's a Giants. He's a huge Dolphins fan. He calls them America's team. Sure, why not? South America's team, sure. He said I just popped to say Jets suck. See you week 17. Now here's the crux of my crawl. Not the crux of my crawl. So stick in my craw that a lot of media pundits are saying that the Jets win. The three wins were based on the fact that they're playing all backup quarterbacks, and if they weren't playing backup quarterbacks, they'd be 0-5 right now. Shut up.
Well,
Cry me a river.
the
Honestly, cry me a river. You win the games you're supposed to win.
yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, that's the thing that's the thing, and I did see some post game comments. I think somebody had some footage of Robert Saleh speaking in the locker room, and I thought that maybe they were a little he was a little high on the win. He said, this is a change. You can feel the change
Yeah.
in the air, and
Yeah, you
he's
can.
talking about
Yeah.
all these things, and uh, part of me said, well, you beat a third string quarterback, but to your point, a win is a win in the NFL. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
who they're trotting out there. A win is a win, and that was a game, especially debatably with Teddy Bridgewater at the helm. No disrespect, but you should win that game, or you have a chance to win that game. And then
Yeah.
with a rookie coming out, they capitalized. Sauce
Yeah.
Gardner made that pick. There was
Mm-hmm.
and there's people that can make plays on this Jets offense now. The defense finally
Yeah.
seems to be coming around. Some of the young stars are gelling, and the only thing that matters is if those players start buying in the locker room, then that's all they need.
Yep. I got more comments here from Matt Ordazzo, one of the two guys from the Corner Booth podcast. I make an appearance every so often on their pregame show on Thursday nights at 7. He's a New York Jets fan also. Gives the NYJ with the green heart. And he says, Matt from Corner Booth Pod checking in. Giants, in my opinion, are in great hands with Dable and GM. Was Joe. I can't remember his last name for the life of me right now. But he's also another Bills guy. Giants are ahead of the rebuild and a quarterback away from taking the next step. Hey, I mean, Daniel Jones could still be that quarterback. We talked about that a little bit.
You never know.
And Jared from Corner Booth also says Corner Booth in the house. He also says Jets still get the W and beat the backups by a lot, so they handled business. Yep,
they did. They did. You drop 40 on anybody, you're doing something.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on from the comment section for just a bit. Keep those comments coming because you know as well as I do, Dustin, we want your algorithmic engagement comments. Engage with the show.
We love to hear that harp on the show, so keep it coming.
Yeah, you know what? I'll play it again. Play it again. I love that sound. Love that sound. We want your AECs engaged with us during the show. All right. Yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness! It's after especially after a hard day at work. That harp sound. It's that ambient sound that it's very pleasing. All right, biggest disappointment. I'm going to go on a little bit of a not so much a rant, but just I got to ask the Los Angeles Rams: is the hunger gone from your team? Do you have a Super Bowl hangover? Because I had a chance to witness what they did on Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys. And within the first series of the game, you allow your offensive line to get ragdolled by the Dallas Cowboys, strip sack, scoop and score. Dolphins go up, not Dolphins, the Cowboys go up 7-0. And from there, the rest of the game, offensively, you can't run the ball. On the offensive line, I understand there's a bunch of injuries, but again, it's the NFL, it's next man up. And it's if Matt Stafford only finds Cooper Kupp, I swear to God, if he throws another pass at Cooper Kupp, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself.
Yeah.
So he's got to find other targets. Sean McVay's got to utilize the running game. I don't know what is wrong with this team. This is probably one of the worst Super Bowl defending champion teams in the first 5 weeks of a season I can remember for as long as I've been watching football.
Yeah, they looked, and let's not put it all on the Rams. I hate to say this, but Dallas's defense is legit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But to your point, Matthew Stafford, he just looks kind of dejected.
He looks old.
Yeah,
he's younger than I am, but he looks old.
The running game, to your point, is not cutting the mustard. Nobody has taken hold of that backfield, despite the fact that I believe Sean McVay was trying to motivate Cam Akers earlier in the season, saying, we need more from you. We need things. And to your point, the offensive line is banged up for the Rams, but also, as you eloquently put, we get it. Cooper Kupp is amazing, but you've got to find other receivers. You have Allen Robinson out there. He's running routes. Throw it to him.
There's a reason why you picked him up in the offseason.
Yes. The only other receiver that Matthew Stafford has found with any regularity is the tight end Higbee. It's Cooper Kupp first, then Higbee. And then everyone else. And I'm sorry, but I think you have another wideout. Use them. I don't know what is going on in LA. I almost said St. Louis there, but I don't know what is going on in LA. And clearly, I think maybe they just can't capture that momentum they had from last year.
No. And they have a decent defense. Let's put it this way: other than the Bills game in the first game of the season, and then last week a couple weeks ago on Monday night against San Francisco, their defense has done okay. Jalen Ramsey has been, I'm him, I'm him.
Yeah.
And then Deebo Samuel says, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, Deebo Samuel. I can't believe I'm on the side where I'm defending Jalen Ramsey. I think he talks entirely too much, but Deebo Samuel's been making a lot of DBs look pedestrian. But Jalen, in my opinion, he should he should just maybe focus a little less on saying who he is and just go out and show us, show
Yeah,
us your ability.
yeah. And I know what's going on with the Rams. They have 12 more weeks to figure out what they're doing, and they got to figure out a way to first get healthy, A, and B, figure out why they are the way they are right now, because
Yes.
this Super Bowl has turned into this Super Bowl championship has turned into an extended hangover, and
Mhm.
I hate extended hangovers, Dustin. I don't know
Yes.
about you,
They
if
happen
I had a
as we
little
get
bit of
older.
yeah, exactly. How about you, Dustin? Who was your biggest disappointment of the week?
Well, my biggest disappointment here is I have to say, and it's partially because of some of the things that I've talked about on previous shows.
Hmm.
Jacksonville, to me, what happened? What
Yeah,
happened?
yeah.
I was here a couple weeks ago saying the turnaround in Jacksonville's is for real. Trevor Lawrence looks reborn under the skillful guidance of Doug Peterson, et cetera, et cetera. Their running game, beautiful. The defense showing up. And then you go and you lay an egg in Houston. And
And
granted,
not just any egg, a giant egg.
yes.
This was my I would rather drink castor oil than watch this game of the week. Even watching on Red Zone, I was like, I felt so sorry for the Jacksonville market
Mhm.
and the Houston market, but I felt horribly the most for anyone who had to pay a ticket for that game, because
Yes.
that looked terrible. That looked awful.
Yeah, it just and here and maybe I guess I put the cart before the horse, or maybe these things happen in the NFL because
Yeah.
say what you want about that Texans team, but Lovie Smith has them playing hard there. I think to my eyes they if a team's a little undermanned, they can keep it close. It seems like they keep playing, but this Jacksonville team, this would have been a classic get right game. So you had a
Mhm.
little trouble against the Eagles, and I'm thinking, oh, they're gonna come out, they're gonna fire on all cylinders, they're gonna take the Texans down, and that did not happen. And side note, uh, Damien Pierce looks like a real budding star for the Texans at running back. He
Absolutely does. Yes, for
thankfully,
sure.
no offense to Rex Burkhead, but I drafted Damian Pierce, and when Lovie Smith did not use him at all for the first game and at maybe a half, I'm going,
Mhm.
"What are you doing?" and and now we see what we can do, what he can do.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
but yeah, Jacksonville, my biggest disappointment. Nobody showed up on for Jacksonville that game.
Yeah. So, yeah, LA Rams, Jacksonville Jaguars. We're not mad. We're just
We're just
disappointed.
disappointed.
We're just disappointed. All right, moving on to the most entertaining game. Dustin, I'm gonna hang this over to you. In your mind, what was the most entertaining game in week 5?
Well, for me, I gotta go. London calling again. Giants Packers. I just really enjoyed the finish of that game. As you mentioned, the Giants defense stepping up and stopping Aaron Rodgers' late game heroic attempts. Everybody
Mhm.
knows that he could. Everybody knows he could do it. Everybody remembers the bomb.
Yep.
But I was on the edge of my seat, and I was really rooting for the Giants. I have a lot of people that. I have family members, I have friends, they're Giants fans, and I was
Mhm.
really rooting for them to
Yep.
win the game. And Saquon, he's just been very entertaining to watch this year. Can't say enough about his athletic ability, and I really enjoyed the game from London. How about
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. My most entertaining game this week was Bears Vikings. For a number of reasons. A, the Justin Fields kind of had a decent game. I think he didn't have a whole lot of completions, but the fact of the matter that the special teams, uh, that the Vikings could have gone up by a lot in this game, and the Bears block a field goal. They block a long field goal attempt, and the Bears come down the field, and they almost took the lead a couple times. And they had their chances to take the lead. Unfortunately for the Bears, they kind of ran out of time, and Minnesota wound up winning that game. But I don't know, for just checking out the highlights on Red Zone and seeing what what looked like a very entertaining game. So in the third quarter, Bears score a touchdown. They block a field goal on the Vikings' next drive. Then they score a field goal, so they get within. So they get within 3. Then they get an interception. They get a turnover, get another field goal. The game's tied, and then the Vikings break their heart with a touchdown, and then after that, game's over from there, basically. But Bears give the Vikings a good fight. The Bears aren't. I don't know. It's going to be interesting on Thursday night. Thursday night football game this week is Bears Commanders, and you think to yourself, "Oh God." Even after watching the Broncos and the Colts, who America wanted to turn into glue, send them to the glue factory because horses. And a little horse related humor for you guys. And but I made a joke that's saying, "Oh, you thought last week's game was bad. This week's game is going to be terrible."
Yeah, it could be.
But the Bears have a good defense. Commanders have a good defense. And let's see what these two quarterbacks can do. Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan had a duel this week, but with their numbers, they could have had multiple touchdowns, but they didn't. They had multiple interceptions instead.
Yes. It almost was like they were dueling to see who could set the lowest bar.
Yeah.
But yeah, this game, and I will confess something. I was watching football Sunday via Red Zone. Shout out Scott Hansen. I know you're watching 7 hours of commercial-free football.
But I was also greatest words in all of life.
Yes,
6 hours of commercial-free football. Yeah, 6 words.
There you go.
Greasy Joe's bottomless barbecue. Yeah.
But I was also doing other things around the house, laundry. A man's got to get some things done around the house every once in a while.
Absolutely.
And this Bears Viking game is my honorary nomination for the second consecutive week of the "What the hell happened" game, because I saw the Vikings go up early, and I'm like, "Oh, this is just going to be
this game's over."
Yeah, I was like, "This is it. This is all over." And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting there, and they cut to it again, and I went, "What the hell happened?" It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Darnell Mooney had one of the nominees for Catch of the Year.
Yeah. Yeah. Unbelievable.
All right. So we're going to move right along to our most notable performance. And I'm going to start off with my most notable performance. And usually we talk about the quarterbacks. We talk about wide receivers. We talk about, last week I had an honorable mention of the New York Jets defense. This, for me, it was the Houston Texans offense altogether. And I'll tell you why. They were the only team that scored a touchdown in that castor oil game of the week. They scored it late in the fourth quarter with on a 16-play, 6-minute 48 second drive. Pierce with a touchdown to take the lead. Mm-hmm. But here is their total offensive stat. Davis Mills, 16 of 24, 140 yards. Damien Pierce, 26 carries, only 99 yards, averaging 3.8 yards a carry. But he scored the touchdown that made the game.
Yeah, and he had a big run too, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of that yardage came on like a big run.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Receiving, the leading receiver on this day was Nico Collins. 4 receptions on 6 targets, 65 yards. Their defense came to play, though. Desmond King had an interception. Derek Stingley, the rookie corner, drafted first by the Texans at 3rd overall. He had an interception. He had his first career interception, as did one Sauce Gardner for the New York Jets. So pick number 3 and pick number 4 of the NFL draft, they each got their first interception. But here's the most mind-boggling statistic in my mind. So they had 248 total yards.
Yeah.
They actually led in time of possession for 31 minutes and 47 seconds, and they could only generate 248 total yards.
That's mind-boggling.
Yeah, that's a notable performance, but not in the way you think it is.
No, that's almost, I mean, I would venture to guess that that's almost mathematically impossible. Like, you would almost have to try to do that.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
What
Wow.
what did Homer say to Bart one time? And the lesson you learn the greatest lesson in the world. The lesson is don't try.
Yeah. Trying is the first step towards failure.
Yeah.
Don't try. Oh, man.
What about you, Dustin? What was the most notable performance in week 5 in your mind?
Well, I've got a two-way tie. This is gonna be how I do this. You know, we're kind of taking some liberties with this category. I like it. So, for a half, for me, it's Josh Allen. He threw 4 touchdowns and I believe had 348 passing yards in the first half. That's a game stat line.
That's an entire game.
Yes, and he did that in a half. And then this
against the Steelers, who aren't a terrible team on defense.
No, but yeah, Mike Tomlin, he probably steam probably came out of his ears after that half, I would imagine. But and my other notable performance, it's a tie because I just couldn't believe how ridiculous this was. Travis Kelce last night had 4 touchdowns on 25 receiving yards. It's unbelievable.
You know who had him on his fantasy team? My nephew, who absolutely mopped the floor with me in our GNO league. Oh.
Yeah. But that's
shout out to Christian, who's currently at the baseball, who's actually at Yankee Stadium tonight for the
nice
for the showdown with the Guardians, Cleveland Indians. I don't know what to call them.
Guardians. Yes, I believe. But yeah, shout out to the CJ Beast. He got the better of you last week.
That's true.
My fantasy team's not great either. So.
All right, so we're going to move on to the hottest individual take of the week. Dustin, I'm going to start with you. What's your hottest individual take from week 5?
Well, for me, with a few notable exceptions, like I said earlier, the Cowboys' defense is for real. And the Giants, as Ryan alluded to, they're going to have some Pro Bowl players if they keep going at this clip. But largely, I have noticed a trend. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to use one player as an example. Now, I know my Seahawk defense cannot stop a paper bag. Taysom Hill, though, how is he still a thing? You know, every time he comes in the game, you know it's going to him because that's what they do. And he had 4 touchdowns. So I shouldn't say the New Orleans Saints beat my beloved Seahawks this week. I should say that Taysom Hill beat my beloved Seahawks this week, but it's a theme. I have felt defense as a whole is down across the NFL. There is no dominating defense outside of Giants, Dallas, and an improving Giants defense as we've noted that I can think of. There are certain games where a defense will look okay, and then all of a sudden the next week they'll get mopped all over the yard, or they'll all of a sudden they'll be good for a half. The offense makes adjustments, and things go crazy. I have not seen a defense that is really like, okay, they're an elite defense. I feel like defense is down across the NFL. I don't know if you feel the same way.
No, I think part of it has to do with a quote from a certain football player who I happen to share the same birth month, birth year, an astrological sign, and those are the only things we have in common.
Yes. Yes.
So let me bring up what he said back in 2001.
Oh,
He
okay. This is
said, and I quote, the quarterback messes up, doesn't see the blitzer, or the O-line screws up. I don't know what happened, the quarterback or the lineman on offense. The defensive player comes in and hits him hard, and they throw a flag on the defense. Tom Brady said that in an interview in 2021. And that kind of leads into my hottest individual take of the week.
Mhm.
And that is Jerome Boger and Carl Cheffers are the worst referees in the NFL. And this goes back to the Raiders Bengals playoff game, the wild card game last year,
Yeah.
whereas Jerome Boger's crew
Oh,
initially called a Joe Burrow pass out of bounds, which was actually a touchdown because he was throwing the ball as he was running out of bounds. They eventually reversed the call. And if memory serves me correctly, if I'm wrong, go ahead and fact check me. I don't, whatever.
yeah. We're going off the top of the dome here.
I'm going off the top of the dome. So yesterday on Sunday during the Buccaneers Falcons game,
Oh,
Tom Brady goes back to pass,
yes.
and there's a blitzing linebacker on the Atlanta Falcons who's coming in, and he has a clear pass to Brady. Clear pass to Brady. Hit looks clean. Sack looks great. Penalty flag.
Yeah.
Penalty flag. Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Roughing the passer on the defense. And that becomes the automatic first down for the Buccaneers. Tagalong's here. Say hi to Tagalong. There he is.
Yeah.
And the
Okay.
Bucs run up the clock. Yeah, it was a bad call. And then last night's game, which was Chris Jones sacking
Oh,
Derek Carr, Carl Cheffers throws a flag for roughing the passer.
yes.
What became a evidently clear hit and
Yes.
strip sack fumble for Chris Jones.
And his reasoning apparently is that Chris Jones landed on Derek Carr with his full body weight. Apparently, that is an NFL rule. But how are you supposed to stop
But
yourself when you're?
he had possession of the ball after he got that sack.
Hmm.
He was trying to get the ball because he had
Yeah.
strip sacked
Yes.
Derek Carr. And yeah, he can defend himself all he wants. Triffers can defend himself all he wants. But that was a terrible call. And I
Yes. I
understand
agree.
with the heightened concussion protocol because that's scary to an injury. I get it.
Yes.
But also injuries happen in the NFL, and B, you gotta let the players play.
Hmm.
Regardless of the consequence, or you gotta let the players play.
Yes.
And those two roughing the passer penalties were egregious.
Yes, I completely agree. And I think it's a classic case. We all know the reason why they're doing it, but it's a classic case of overcorrection. I think they've gone just a little bit too far. They need to re-examine this. And it really in both of the games, I think, changed the momentum of the game or affected the game. I would say it certainly did in the Falcons Tampa Bay game. I
Yes,
I thought the
it did.
Falcons I thought the Falcons were going to continue to be the most mystifying team in the NFL to me and be like, how are they even getting close in games or getting wins?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was coming again, but
Yeah.
that roughing the passer call completely sucked their momentum away from them. And I
Mm-hmm.
will just say, this is not a personal attack on Jerome Boger. I'm sure he's a very nice man. But
Yes.
I have felt the same way about specifically Jerome Boger for years. When he is officiating games, I'm like, there's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a lot more flags. There's going to be flags that sometimes get picked up. You can ask Scott if he's watching, or my uncle Al. I have texted both of them at different times and said, "Is this a Jerome Boger game?"
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Now I'm gonna look at the referee summons for Week 6 in the NFL. That's through 2021, so that's irrelevant. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think we get the refs for until I think probably Thursday, and
I would say probably
I'm
Thursday, maybe
praying,
Wednesday.
I'm praying, God, if you're out there, please do not let Jerome Booger's crew call the Jets Packers game, because
Yeah.
I know they'll throw penalties at the Jets like there's no tomorrow. And the Jets have been one of the most disciplined teams this season, especially on the defense. So God, please hear my prayer. Please don't let Jerome Booger's crew officiate this game on Sunday.
Yeah, and
Amen.
it makes it, the game drags. It drags because it seems like every couple of plays the laundry's coming out.
Yeah.
So no disrespect to Jerome Boger, but hey, I agree with you. He is undoubtedly my least favorite ref in the NFL. Let's just put it that way.
Not great. All right, before we transition over to the divisional series preview-ish, we're going to go back to the comment zone, brought to you by InTheClutch.com. Use promo code NOCREDS at checkout for 10% off your order. Get yourself a t-shirt. Buy a t-shirt. Got some great stuff over there.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin Wilson, one of our fantasy gurus at Belly Up Sports, says, forget Thursday night football, watch baseball.
That's some sage advice.
Yeah. Jared Klim, he's one of our corner booth guys. He is a giant Philadelphia Eagles fan. He says Eagles defense. What about Philly? Philly in terms of top performers of the week.
Yeah.
Top 3 in sacks and turnovers, top 10 against the rush and the pass. I rest my case. Yeah, it's a very good case, I guess. Snowman in the morning, Brian Snow checking in. He says Astros walk him off. That's too bad. And he has some news. I didn't know about this. He said, my bad news has turned to good news. What I thought was small bowel cancer. Turns out they've ruled out a relapse. No cancer relapse.
Oh, that's great news. Oh,
Great news,
congratulations
Snowman.
on that.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's already been through a battle with his own personal battle with cancer, with stomach. I believe he had stomach cancer, if I'm not mistaken. So, but he had a medical emergency last year, which turned into a cancer diagnosis. And you know what? Sometimes those emergencies turn into a good thing, because that means you can get treated and get things cured. So hey, congratulations, Snowman. Hope you're celebrating tonight, and thanks for watching too. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, before we totally get into Major League Baseball, our divisional series preview-ish, we got to thank one of our partners with Gozilla Media, and that is Mohawk Honda. Crisp morning air, pumpkin muffins. If you're a basic white girl, it's pumpkin muffins, pumpkin spice, everything, and Ugg boots. Also, beautiful foliage. And just like that, it's fall. Seasons may change, but one constant is the buying experience at Mohawk Honda, where you are greeted with a smile and treated with respect. The new vehicle inventory is ramping up too, with pilots, passports, and Ridgelines. Remember, this is the best time ever to sell your vehicle. We buy cars, and in some cases, you may be able to sell it more than what you paid for it. There's another advantage you get from the number one volume dealer in the capital region. General Manager Greg Johnson and his team of sales consultants are always available to help you in the buying process. And we have big news. Scott Moynihan is back at Mohawk Honda, and he's bringing his 30 years plus of automotive experience with him. Stop in and welcome Scott home. You can also see my guy, Evans Whalen. He got me into the loving tires of a 2016 Honda HR-V. Yes, the season's changed, but at Mohawk Honda on Freeman's Bridge Road in Scotia and online at mohawkhonda.com, we always go out of our way to please you. So, Major League Baseball, the divisional series is currently happening. We had 2 games earlier today. We had the Yankees playing right now. Phillies hold off the Braves. They had a big comeback. The Braves had a big comeback, and they hold them off 7-6. Astros just walked off and beat the Mariners 9-8. And now we get the New York Yankees, who are currently in the top of the first with the Guardians. It's a scoreless game with a man on. Please don't chew on that. No, thank you. Tag along is chewing on things. And then a little bit later, the Padres and the Dodgers. Dustin, what's your feeling on these series in this divisional round? Could we see? Are we going to see some of these series go 5? Or are we going to see? Are we going to see a sweep? What's your opinion on these series?
Well, I have to say, I think that the Yankees will get by Cleveland, but I think it's going to be a tougher series than people realize. I mean, I think Cleveland came out and shocked a lot of people, the way that they moved on so quickly. They've been playing some decent baseball for a while now, and so I think the Yankees ultimately will prevail, but I think this could go five, and it pains me to say that. Um, the Mariners, Astros, well, my hopes just took a big blow. I am hoping that the Mariners can somehow find a way to get past Houston. I just don't know if it's going to happen. The Mariners just seem like a team that is clicking at the exact right time. Like I said,
Yeah.
they've had Robbie Ray. He's kind of had an up and down season, but he's been pitching well again. He's a Cy Young winner last year. They've got some pieces in Seattle for sure, but and I'm hoping the Mariners can get by, but I think this is definitely has the potential to be a quick series by the Astros.
Mhm.
They're very good. You
Yeah.
can't say anything else about them.
Yep.
Um, Over on the National League side, I think the Braves will get by the Phillies. If I'm let's see, am I is that the right showdown? Yes, I think the
Yeah. Braves,
Braves
Philly. Yeah. Phillies, Braves. Yep.
I think they will get by Atlanta, although the Philadelphia's manager, he deserves a special shout out. The team was under
Ro-
500 when he took
Robbie
them over.
Robbie Thompson. Robbie
Yeah,
Thompson.
I did. Didn't they officially hire him now? I
Yeah,
think
he's
so.
officially he is now the interim tag has been taken off of Robbie Thompson, former third base coach with the New York Yankees when Joe Girardi was manager of the Yankees. So, but
Okay.
yeah, he earned himself the interim tag has been taken off him as of today. He is now the full time manager of the Philadelphia Phillies. So, congratulations, Robbie Thompson.
Yes, as he should, because they were under 500 when he took over, and now they're in the playoffs. But I do think the Braves take care of them in quick fashion. And then Padres Dodgers. I don't really know what to make of this series. I will say I was surprised. I thought the Mets could get by the Padres. If you remember last week, I was on here with Brian Katie. We were discussing the Mets pitching staff, and I said I believe I would take them in a playoff series almost against any pitching staff in Major League Baseball. Well, the Padres dusted them. So
Hmm.
but I do ultimately think that the Dodgers, again, I just don't know. Something seems off. As you pointed out, the Padres were playing better before the Soto trade. I want this to be a series, but I think this could be another quick one. I think the Dodgers, they're just too good. They're a juggernaut. They've got Trey Turner. They've got pitching. They've got all the pieces.
Yeah. Now, for me, the biggest thing for the Yankees, two things for the Yankees. A, Aroldis Chapman is not on the playoff roster,
Yeah,
which
he
actually
flew to
may be the
Miami.
best thing for them.
Hmm.
So his Yankee career is essentially
Yeah, he's
essentially
done so.
over. And two, Matt Carpenter's back in the lineup.
He was
And
a
I was
spark.
hoping, yeah, he was a big spark in that offense, which I believe is one of the reasons why they had that lull in August when they were I think they were like what 18 and 31
Yeah, they had
in
a
August or something like that. They
horrible,
had a
horrible
terrible
August.
August. And September they turned it right around, but now they got Carpenter back, and I think it's going to make a big difference for the Yankees. Now their pitching is solid. If their starting pitching can be consistent, if they can somehow get some dominance, Garrett Cole's on the mound tonight, uh, and I believe there may be an appearance by Jemison Tyone from the bullpen. So maybe in this series. So we'll have to see what happens with them. I think the Yankees take the series in four. I think Cleveland will take at least one of those games in New York and try to turn the series around. But I think overall, I think the Yankees hitting is going to wind up being too much for Cleveland, and Cleveland had no hitting whatsoever. I mean, they won both games in the wild card, but
Yeah.
they were 1-0 and 2-1. So their pitching got them through,
Yes.
but you can't exclusively win a series on pitching.
No, the bats need to come to play as well, but
Mhm.
yet pitching does help.
Yep. So I think I've got the Yankees in 4. I think the other 3 series with Houston, Seattle, Phillies, Braves, and Padres, Dodgers, I think they all have the potential to go 5 games, which would be if you're a Yankee fan, that would be to your advantage if the Astros and
Yes.
Mariners go 5, and if the Mariners can knock off Houston somehow,
Oh,
that'll be to your
wonderful.
advantage too. Because as much as I mean, the Astros were a juggernaut this year. Let's not lie about that. We've
Yeah.
seen several guys who are currently playing for the Astros come through Troy, New York, as members of the Tri-City Valley Cats. So
Mhm.
we know some of these teams. So I think that series will go 5. I think Houston will wind up winning. I won't be shocked if Seattle takes them far into game 5. Astros Phillies. The Phillies are a buzzsaw right now. I thought the Cardinals were going to take them down, but it turns out the Phillies had a comeback in their pocket in game 1, and in game 2 they had a shutout in their pocket, and nobody saw that coming.
Yeah, I didn't.
No, but I think Atlanta will they'll go the distance. I think Phillies. I think the Astros, the Braves, who are my World Series pick before this season, they'll take the series in 5. And in the Dodgers Padres series, I think that also has a potential to go 5, only because the Padres had that momentum from the third game in the wild card. Joe Musgrove throws a one hitter
Yes, with his shiny ears.
with the
Yeah.
shiny ears.
Yeah.
Apparently it's a trick in baseball that I never knew of until Sunday, when Andrew McCutcheon said, "Yeah, they put hot sauce behind their ears," and I think someone mentioned that JPB learned a trick from Roger Clemens that he put hot sauce in his jock to keep him focused
Oh
for the
man.
entire game. It's like, well, it's Roger Clemens, so yeah, he's a little bit
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
as much as I want the Padres to knock off the Dodgers because the Dodgers, I gotta say, I have a little spot in my, I just have a small, teeny, tiny spot in my heart for the Dodgers because they were my grandpa McCarthy's favorite
Okay.
baseball team.
Yeah,
But
understandable.
I think the Dodgers have too much to overcome for the Padres, and I got the Dodgers taking them down in 5.
Okay.
So 3 of these 4 series will go 5. Will go 5 games. Yankees, Guardians. We'll go 4 games with the Yankees taking it 3-1.
Well, that'd be a great postseason. I always like when series are closer. So I hope that you're right on the majority of the series there.
And we got from our comment section brought to you by In the Clutch, no creds at checkout for 10% off your t-shirts. Kevin Wilson, our fancy guru at Belly Up Sports, he says the Dodgers will take down their little brothers from the South for maximum. Okay. Okay. Not a
Yeah,
terrible prediction.
yeah, you're probably right because I, much like you, if it's not a sentimental reason, but I always had a soft spot for the Padres because of Tony Gwynn. So,
Mm,
if I picked a National
my,
League team, quote unquote,
my favorite hitter of
right?
all time,
Yeah.
the hitting machine.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I'm kind of rooting for the Padres, but the Dodgers are just they spend a lot of money to get to the place where they are, and they are
Mm-hmm.
there. You
Mm-hmm.
know.
We're there for a reason. Okay, so we're gonna wrap things up shortly for this installment of No Credentials Required. But first, I'm gonna hand the floor to Dustin, and as we've talked about in the last couple of weeks since he's joined the show, he is doing a fundraiser. Dustin, why don't you remind the people about your fundraiser?
Well, thank you very much, Ryan. I will be fundraising for the Bernard and Millie Duker Hospital at Albany Med. I am fundraising for that actively right now. I'm for a charity called Extra Life. The Albany Med Children's Hospital is the specific hospital I am raising money for, but this event is called Extra Life, and it is meant to help kids fighting childhood cancer and other sicknesses as well, I believe. I will be streaming games, hopefully for 24 hours, over on my seldom used Twitch channel at eldusto67 on November 5th. It's the official game day, so pop on over and also donate a few shekels if you can. I will be promoting and have been promoting the charity on my various social media platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. If you see me on any of those platforms, donate if you can. And hopefully I'll see you for a little bit on the 5th. And so that's that.
Yeah.
And Ryan, I also understand, will you be writing articles this week? And do you have anything else that you want to discuss?
Yes, I plan on publishing an article hopefully tonight for Belly Up Sports about the Jets' list of accomplishments they've had this season. But I also have another special announcement I'm going to take the floor on. And that is, I am going to be starting a new side project. It's a podcast. It's going to be called Have Another Donut. It's a New Jersey Devils centric podcast. I'll be covering the New Jersey Devils, the Utica Comets, and the Adirondack Thunder. First recording is going to be on Sunday night. I'm going to have it up on the Gozilla Media YouTube channel. It'll also be available wherever you podcast on Monday morning. So I got a nice little side project going on. Just focusing on my New Jersey Devils. I love this team. I've loved this team since 1988, and I cover the Jets right now for No Commercials Required on Victory Mondays with my buddy Dan. But I kind of want to do something special with the New Jersey Devils, and Gozilla Media doesn't have a hockey specific podcast right now. So when I threw the idea over to Goz, he said, "Run with it." I made some mock-ups for the podcast logo. It looks fabulous. And starting Sunday, I'm going to be recording, and the visual stuff will be on Gozilla Media's YouTube channel, and the podcast edition will be on your favorite podcast platform starting on Monday. So I hope you check it out. Currently, the only social media channel I have for it right now is on Twitter. You can find the podcast at Devils Donut Pod. So, and I think another special thing I'll probably do on is a donut review every week.
Oh yeah,
trying to find a donut shop in the area that makes craft donuts, and just go to town with it.
Oh, you got to do that. I don't know how you're going to find the time. It mystifies me. You are a podcasting machine. I doff my cap to you, sir. But if there's any man for this job, you are the perfect man for the job, given your passion for the Devils for as long as I've known you, and also your knowledge about hockey, and also your experience with the Albany Devils, the minor league affiliate for the New Jersey Devils at one time. So this job was tailor-made for you. Everybody go out there, subscribe, listen. Ryan's gonna do right by this podcast. I know for sure.
Yeah. Thank you for the support. And I'll let you guys know on both the Devils Donut Pod Twitter channel and also my personal channel, which you can find right here at Who Is Ryan MCC. I'll announce that the first recording, episode 1, will be out for your listening pleasure on Monday, and for your vision, actually also for your viewing pleasure the same day on the Gozilla Media YouTube channel. So we're going to wrap things up here. I actually have to make an appearance on another show in roughly a little bit more than half an hour. I'll be on the Motor City Realist podcast with Zach Mack and one of our co-founders at Belly Up Sports, Mike Brown. They're both big Detroit sports fans, but we're going to talk about the New York Jets tonight.
Oh, and wow!
It'll be an interesting time to do a comparison between the Lions and the Jets, I thought. And Tag Along has made his he's back.
He's the mascot. He's got to make his appearance.
Exactly.
You know, I drew up a contract with him. I said, Tag Along, you got to have at least 2 appearances a show. He's contractually obligated.
Yep. And he's contractually here. So we're going to wrap things up for tonight. Again, social media channels, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at NoCredsREQ, Facebook.com/NoCredsREQ. If you're watching on Facebook right now, give us a like. And on YouTube, same thing. If you're watching right now, give this video a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you know when we're live or we've posted another video. On the podcast side, our home base is Spreaker, but you can find us on every available podcasting platform. Rate and review. 5 stars is the preferred number of stars. Also leave a review, and we might even read it on the air. So, Dustin, do you have anything else to add before we take off?
I don't think so. I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat, and I'm going to be downloading a new podcast. So,
Ooh. And we got
got to
one
be
more.
subscribing to your hockey podcast.
Yeah, once it's out, we got one more comment from the comment section. You guys are doing a great job from Amanda Catherine. Thank you, Amanda. We appreciate
thank you so much. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. So, for my co-host, Dustin Henry, I got it right this time. Hey,
yeah,
Dustin Henry. I'm Ryan McCarthy. Thanks for watching No Credentials Required, where you don't need to press pass to talk sports, presented by Belly Up Sports in association with Gozilla Media. We'll see you here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, 7 p.m. Eastern. Have a great night,
everybody.
Folks.